Welcome to another episode of The Two Alphas Live. Tonight we're going to talk to you about gun violence, controlled chaos, and constitutional carry. How does it all mix in? How does it play out? That's what we'll be discussing tonight.
All right, guys. This episode is brought to you by Saber Team Tactical. And Saber Team Tactical's website looks like this. Just type in saberteamtactical.com and it'll take you straight to it. And we have a multitude of classes and other things. Al?
Yep. So we offer private one-on-one training. So that means you sign up, pick a date about 2 weeks in advance, and we will accommodate you. We also have basic firearms training for self-defense courses. The next one will be June 4th. June 4th. That's going to be a big day. We got about 7 people signed up already. We could probably do about maybe 3 or 4 more people. It's going to be a nice group of folks. We do adaptive training. That means if you have an inclination on which way the firearm is supposed to be pointed, we don't start off with the basics. We advance you. So you may be standing next to a line with somebody who just figured out which way to point the gun in which direction, and you may be doing something a little bit different. We will definitely push your skills. Then we're going to go into semi-automatic rifle for self-defense. We also have concealed carry class, the medical class, concealed carry medical class. That's a good one. You got to know how to stop the bleed. You know, we always talk about carrying first aid equipment, not necessarily just for a major event where you get shot or somebody else that you know has been shot, but basic injuries. You know, sometimes you may be out in the garden and sprain the ankle. How do you fix that? Somebody impales themselves on a fence. How do you fix that? So this class will definitely give you an inclination on how to do that. Then we're going to have a shotgun class, and that's a shotgun for self-defense, but home defense mostly. But, you know, wherever you may utilize a shotgun. We got a medical class coming up. Shotgun class is June 9th. These are our upcoming classes. Medical and rifle battle class. That is a good one. We've had a good time with that one and a lot of great feedback from participants in the past. Then we're going to come up with a rifle and PCC class. That guy sitting next to me in the other room, way over there, he's the man, and he will get you straight. He will definitely get you straight. Rifle and tactical gear class, similar to the PCC, but it's totally different because you're wearing full gear. If you have plate carriers, wear that. If you have just a chest rig, wear that. Your equipment put to the test, and trust me, you look at some of our Instagram pages and look at the photos of the targets aftermath. Those targets get shot up. I mean, I feel good throwing those targets away because there is nothing left to them.
So, the only thing you got to do when you guys go to this page, just click on one of the green tabs. It'll take you to the information about the class and the loadout for the class, what to bring, what to wear. And I got to change this cost right here. And 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 the information to fill out, and you purchase the class at the bottom, and everything's all good. You're signed up. We'll get the information and get back with you. And no walk-ons for any of the classes. You must sign up prior to any of the classes. Also, too, Saber Team Tactical also offer tactical training gear, medical, and laser engraving. If you're looking for swag for Saber Team Tactical, we got magazines, dog tags, and sexy paddles.
And the thing is, a lot of times people don't recognize that this stuff is good for fundraisers. It's good for participation awards and different groups, and
Right.
and the season, banquet giveaways, door prizes, things like that.
And this is just some of the stuff up here that I actually do. We have a lot more. So we do custom stuff. So give us a call. Numbers at the top. If you need us, and or send an email back on the main page or this page. All right. And on with the show.
All right.
So, gun violence. Go ahead. Go ahead, Al.
What we have here is, the shadow right above my eye.
Oh, you're getting the shadow? Okay.
That's what I was looking
Oh,
at.
okay.
So what we have is politicians, the media, and anyone else that's quote unquote anti-gun saying that there's a rise in gun violence, right? And we're going to tie that into constitutional carry because we're hearing a lot, especially in the state of Georgia, where constitutional carry is causing gun violence, and it's not. Gun violence was on the rise, quote unquote, prior to any signing in the state of Georgia, in particular, of any constitutional carry bill. The key to this is violence. Take the gun away, and just think about violence. A violent person is going to do harm or do bodily harm or violent acts to another person because that's who they are. It's not about the gun. It's about violence. So what's happened is with the country, gun grabbers, certain people are taking the gun and saying it's gun violence because that the outcome, someone was shot. Yes, someone used a gun in order to commit an act. But that person, if he didn't have a gun or she didn't have a gun, would have used a knife, a car, a grenade, anything that they had at their disposal, they would have used that. That is the key that we have to pay attention to. When you hear violence, it's not necessarily the gun. We have people who are violent, and we have to learn to mitigate our anger and conflict. That's the key to, I think, that's the key to the situation going on in the future is conflict and negotiations.
So my interpretation is a little bit different from Al's because mine is what is gun violence? And what they have classified gun violence is any um the real definition of gun violence is what Al just said. Okay, but this my interpretation is a little different. So it's an act of using a gun in a violent way. But what the news and the political parties to get rid of firearms are using gun defense, um, accidental shootings, all as a part of gun violence. They're categorizing them all in one thing. So if a homeowner protects his house and they use a firearm to do it, they're going to say that's gun violence. If a homeowner shoots multiple intruders, they would try to call that as a mass shooting, you know? And the same way they have been calling the gangland shootings, where at least 12 people have been shot in most of these gang things, shootouts, they've been calling them mass shootings. So they're trying to classify different, what do you want to say, uh, acts of crime as a gun violence and saying it's the gun. We wouldn't have this violence if it wasn't for the gun, you know? And like
So,
Al just, yeah, go
so
ahead.
basically, we're on the same line. It's not different interpretation. Is if we come to the end results the same place.
And it's the same, right, right. Well,
So,
you know, I just had to say that just to,
well, well, it sounds great, but I
yeah,
mean,
yin and yang.
the key to it is that what we're dealing with right now is misinterpretation, and we're not getting to the root cause. The root cause and how to stem the root cause is what we need to be working on. I've said this for probably the last 20 years. My wife would laugh if she heard me say it again. We need to take some form of math, I always say, out of the schools. Whether algebra is great, some of these kids never use trigonometry again in their life, and institute conflict negotiation. Because
I was going to say corporal punishment.
no, because beating them if we're not doing anything is not the answer. Beating them for committing acts is something else. You know, that's where it comes in. But we
Right.
need to instill an ability to negotiate verbally first. You know,
Mhm.
we're both old school. We both, go to Knuckle Junction, 3 o'clock. You point that guy out, 3 o'clock, me and you, and both parties were committed. You meet at 3 o'clock behind the school, somewhere in between, in an alley, whatever it was, and you knuckled up. Those days are over.
Yeah.
Modern technology.
Those days went out in the 80s.
Yeah, I would say
Yeah,
early '90s. I would say
yeah,
early '90s. But
because I know
go ahead.
because I know people who were getting in fisticuffs was getting shot
Well,
over
I was
small
about to tell you that.
altercation.
My theory on that is technology. The gun is modern technology. So as we evolve, we try to make things simpler. Back in my day, I can remember a couple of guys where every day after we the first time we fought, if I felt he got the advantage over me, next time I saw him, we want to do it again, do it again, do it again. So some of these kids, they're smarter than we were. These kids are smarter nowadays. They're like, I'm gonna end
Right,
this. I'm gonna end this all
right.
once and for all, for now.
And the firearm makes a great equalizer for a
Mm-hmm.
weak, timid person. Because if you
Yep.
notice, all the school shooters are weak, timid
Mm-hmm.
people, and they use
Yep.
that firearm to get back at their bullies or
Right.
enemies. Yeah,
Well, they're outliners.
right.
They're kids they're not popular. They're not. I told my guys, my children, when they were in high school, I told them, speak to those guys, say hi. Because if they come up in there running amok with a pistol, maybe they'll spare you. And in certain situations,
That's been
somebody
true.
being kind,
That's been
they
true.
right, yeah,
Yeah,
they've been
this has
kind,
happened. Yeah,
and they'll get out of here and let them
right,
roll out. I'm like,
right.
because what happens is you start isolating people, and you never know what the mentality of that person is, and that thing festers, and then one day they snap, and then here you got a guy standing in front of you, with some kind of weapon. I don't need to name any of them, but anything,
No,
and trying to do harm to other people for no reason, only because they've never had, again, conflict negotiation, being able to talk and speak and say, hey, look, I don't like the way you talk to me like that. And
right.
most times it can kind of balance out. But then, when you're dealing with young people, this has to start like sixth, seventh, and eighth grade. Because by the time they get to high school, they've already set. It's like a national average. By the time you turn 15 years old, you are who you're going to be.
Right.
You mature a little bit more, but your mentality is already set. So if you're going to be a decent, kind, compassionate person, then it's already set in. If you're going to be a jerk, it's already set in, and we could see that. You look at some of
Hmm.
these kids, and the things that they're doing nowadays. Man, there's a whole lot of jerks running around here.
Yeah, yeah. So it's very interesting how they're actually doing this. One of the biggest thing they're trying to use is kids as a means of with firearms.
Mm-hmm.
Which let me pull this article up real quick, and it's very interesting what they're doing nowadays. They're trying to use. They're trying to say, well, if you guys see that article, and here's the title here. Man, I can't get all the article because I don't subscribe to it. You got to pay for it and all this good stuff. But just the title alone, more kids reported carrying handguns with the largest rise among white, wealthy, rural teens. New study finds. So, they're not saying that the minorities are shooting each other, but they're saying be careful of the white man, of the white teen is the one who's going to carry guns and be leading and killing you. And if you notice with the article, instead of showing stats of what the article was, what do? They show a nice firearm there.
What is
So
that, Takov?
huh?
What is that,
That
Takarov? Yeah,
yeah, I
that's
think
like a
so.
Russian gun.
Yeah, I think it is, but it doesn't say it in the
Of
article.
course not. That's probably a
Yeah,
stock photo somewhere.
right. It's probably a stock photo,
Mm-hmm.
but it's very interesting how they're using that. They're using kids, and here's another one where this is a tragic one right here. Um, teen accident shoots himself at the Chick-fil-A parking lot near a mall at Stonecrest, police say. But see, even if you read the article, it does not say it was an accidental shooting. It's
Right.
just like
Well,
the
it says
guns.
like, yeah, accidentally shot himself. The first
Right.
one.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, there. But actually shot himself. But they don't say how was where was the firearm at. It's
Mm-hmm.
more looking like that the child had the gun on his own. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it doesn't give a lot of information about what actually happened. So he's like, oh my God, these guns and teens, you know?
Mhm.
And so what they're trying to do is get with your emotions.
Absolutely.
And here's one you had. Um, you can scroll on that one.
Hmm.
Um, prosecutor injured while showing off his firearm.
Right. Now, here's a grown man who just got a new firearm. It looks like a staccato, and decides he wants to show it off to his folks in
Right,
office.
right.
And then, not no, probably not a shooter, just some guy that owns a gun,
Yeah,
and just decides,
very
up
inexperienced.
there,
It's a
there's a
P.
Sig
It's a
model
yeah,
P.
Sig. Yeah,
Right.
that wasn't a Sig
Yeah,
320.
right. Yeah, I was gonna say, either that or it's a Gucci. They got Gucci Sig now. They got
Oh
Gucci
my
Glock and
God!
Gucci Sig.
Here's a stock photo.
And see, yeah, it turned gray and started grunting and
But
drooling.
but go back. Yeah, let's go. Go back to the picture real quick. But see, they put a picture of a gun that looked menacing.
Of course. Well, it
Yeah,
says Sig right there.
that's it.
Yeah, it does say
That's a
Sig.
320.
So of course
That's
he's a
a tricked out.
prosecutor, so you got to have a
Right,
cute gun. And
right,
give him
right,
a,
right.
a
So
manly
yeah,
gun.
it's like so basically every single article, it was the gun's fault
Mm-hmm.
for doing this. They never said it was the person's fault. It's always the gun's fault.
Right.
So
It's
it's the
not the
same,
mishandling of the firearm. It's the gun that shot him
right?
accidentally.
And it's the same way. How do they lead with a drunk driver story? The drunk
Mhm.
driver kills a person. It's a drunk driver,
Right.
not the car that
Mhm.
killed the person.
Right.
See,
It should leave Subaru left the road with a drunk driver.
right, right.
Mhm.
So all these articles should have led with, what,
Idiot.
idiot, yeah,
Mhm.
accidentally shot himself,
Yeah.
or man accidentally shot himself instead of the
Mhm.
gun.
Right. And I try to explain to people all the time, I don't want to see a new gun. I don't. I've seen
No,
them
no,
all
no,
before.
no, no.
They're all the same. There's
Right,
nothing you can show me. I'm sorry, I've been around guns for too long. There's nothing you can show me that I'm ever going to be impressed with when it comes to a gun.
right. But matter of fact, you just triggered a memory. Was somebody was trying to show me a brand new firearm. They had it. I think they had it on their hip or whatever, and I was like, no, I don't want to see it. Leave it on your hip. Don't have to clear it. Don't have to do nothing. I know what it looks like. Yeah. There's
So
no reason
somebody,
even to
if
pull it out.
for those that know me out there, unless you come up with a laser or a phaser or a photon gun, I want to see
I wanna, yeah, I wanna double barrel laser
it. Mhm.
Dark Vader stabber.
Yep.
You know
Uh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to correct you on that. That's
what?
called a lightsaber.
Oh,
The
okay.
nerd, the
Well,
nerd in
I
me won't allow you to
I've
say
never
that.
been a
So
Star Wars fan. Every
that's why I'm correcting you.
Every Star Wars movie I
Lightsaber.
watched, I have fell asleep in the middle of it
That's
because
because you have no imagination.
no, it ain't imagination. Those shows are boring.
You don't believe in the future, Al. That's the problem. You don't believe in the future.
And it's no way my rugged butt's gonna be in space. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I die because of the airlock. I'll be like, because I'm not, I'm not wearing a helmet. You know what I'm saying? It just sucks. But that's what they're trying to do is to use children to get to people's soft spot
Yeah,
and to
absolutely.
make
Well,
them
check this out.
Mhm.
Check this out. You start blaming the children, right? And
Right.
then the parents have to do something. The legislation that the parents can legislate
Right.
the children.
We're saving the kids.
Right. So we make stricter gun laws for everyone, and
Right.
which will include the children. Right.
Right.
Yeah, so now that's a good thing. No, it's not.
Right.
Teach a kid.
Like
Teach a kid. All right. And this is another one I wanted to add to you. Clayton County, Georgia, has disallowed children bringing backpacks, book bags, into school until the end of the year because they had found too many guns since January. I think it was like 77, 71 guns since January in the school system. Not
since
only in the
January
school
this
system.
year?
Yes. Yeah. It's 4 months for 4 months. They
Wow.
found 77 some more guns.
That's more than my high school.
Well, your high school was a battleground, I'm sure.
Yeah. So so they stopped the backpacks. Now they have to walk through metal detectors.
No, they can't. Yeah, they added metal detectors to do it. Yeah, they
Hmm.
added metal detectors, and they also added they have to wear clear bags if they want to
Now
bring a.
I have no problem with that because I know I did some work in the inner city schools in Los Angeles as an inspector, and those schools were you go through a metal detector. You had to check in at the you went through a metal detector, checked in at the front office with your IDs before they allowed you on the campus. And so all the students did that too, and they only had one entrance in and one entrance out. And they had some emergency exits where you can get out, but you only funnel your way through one area. I don't have a problem with that because none of the schools in those hardened crime areas had school shootings. None of them,
Yeah,
because they filtered out that. And
right.
everybody's saying, I don't want that to happen because it makes schools, the students grow up as like a prison. Well, you got to do what you got to do in order to, if you want to make the kids safe, you have to put safety measures in. So safety and convenience are not, they can't be together.
Right.
You
That's
know,
true.
one is going to have to overtake the other. If you want safety, safety is going to be there. If you want convenience, safety is not coming. You know, so
I agree.
yeah,
Um,
that
but
was a,
at the same time, what you just said, you know, you have to submit to that. And a lot of times, people that I just sent you
you
a
want me to
link to
share
the
this?
locker and gun ban.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
Is it a video? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can you
We
hear
can't
it?
hear it. No, I can't hear it.
Let's
Can you
try
hear it?
again. Not yet. Now
No, I
maybe.
can't hear it at all.
Yeah. No.
Well, you can just narrate what he's saying.
Yeah. So Metro Atlantic School District is banning book bags for the rest of the year due to the rising number of weapons. Clayton County Schools Superintendent, this guy announced that middle school and high school students will not be allowed to use book bags or lockers for the rest of the school year. He made his announcement in response to the presence of weapons and hazardous items on school campuses. Thank you, Clayton County, for supporting our actions to mitigate the impact of proliferation of guns in our society, increasingly impacting our schools. Let's work together to ensure our schools remain safe and focus on learning. We continue to lead in our response.
Now, how do we know that's even true?
Exactly.
How do we know that they confiscated that many weapons?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing probably in the video showing that they had that many weapons. You
Right.
know,
Mm-hmm.
so and was with the students' names assigned to them, and give me the 70 something students that were expelled, and you don't have to reveal their names, but just give the incidents of what happened, how they
Right.
were caught, prove it,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't
Well,
believe them.
the thing is that I don't think that they would do that for one, and then two, um, when they confiscated. Now, mind you, I don't think it was all guns. Reading that, when I listening to it on the radio and then reading the article, I realized they said 77 weapons,
Hmm.
right? 70 some odd weapons. They didn't say guns, they say weapons. That's why I tell people all the time, stop calling a gun a weapon. Call it a firearm. Let's
Right.
differentiate, because a weapon is a knife. If I'm in a serious situation, this tumbler
Is a weapon.
is a weapon.
You can be a weapon.
I,
Yeah, you can be a weapon.
Let me tell you
Yeah.
something, bro. Back in the day, with the rookies, I used to tell them all the time. Did you ever go to? We used to call our radios bricks because they were the old-fashioned motor
Yeah.
radios, stuff you see on
Right.
Adam
Yeah.
12. We had those
Yeah.
radios, so we called them bricks. And I had to tell guys, you ever go to brick hitting somebody upside the head in school? And they were like, no, because they were always talking about, I'm not certified in that. You don't have to be certified in order to use it in exigent circumstances. Right now, you don't know. You know how to operate that thing, but you say it's a paintball, not paintball, a pepper ball gun. You know how to operate it, but nobody's certified. You don't get a little card. You didn't get the card. You didn't take the course. But something needs to be done right now. Pick that damn thing up and use it.
Right.
Same with a shotgun. If you've never been, you're not certified shotgun, and there's an incident going on, there's a shotgun somehow.
Pick it up and use it.
Pick
Yeah.
that thing up and go.
Don't sit there and say, "Hey, I'm not
I'm not
certified. I can't pick
certified.
it."
Right.
Yeah. Pick up a fork if you have to.
Exactly.
Not a fork, but a spork.
Man, if you in prison, pick up what you. Them dudes
Right.
making weapons. There's a jail here in Georgia
Right.
falling apart. These guys are making all kind of industrial hardened weapons.
Right. Right.
Weapons, not firearms.
Right. So that leads us into what our next one is control chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was a perfect way to lead into that. It's can you bring chaos when chaos need to be brought?
Right.
Can you
Exactly.
control it?
And just like
There we go.
There you go. There it is.
Yep. Weapons, knives, brass knuckles, chains, razors, sharp screwdrivers, etc. Firearms. A firearm is a firearm. Gun. Yeah, but they're calling.
Oh, I got my weapon.
Right.
So I got my it's a weapons carry license. That means you can carry a weapon.
Any of those items that he
Yes.
just listed.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And but it doesn't necessarily state firearms. And that's why a lot of people get confused with the weapon license. They call it concealed carry license.
Right.
It's not a concealed carry.
You know, it's something that, right? It's not. They're not in the state of Georgia anyway. The CCW take that up north. But I see
Right.
a lot of people who are new into the Second Amendment lifestyle, so to speak. They like that word weapon because it has a mystique to it.
Yeah, it sounds dangerous.
Firearm, right?
Sounds
Firearm
dangerous. Right.
doesn't give you that same mystique. I got a weapon.
Right.
On me. Okay.
Right.
Well, it's not a weapon until you use it. So all you're carrying is a gun. All you're
Right.
carrying is a firearm.
Right.
Until you go to court and you sitting there saying all kind of prayers and hoping and wishing that
They're going to
everything
use
works
the
out for
word
you.
weapon at that point.
Well, what I'm going to say is when you're in court and you're sitting there because of a trial is coming up,
Oh, you're going to be saying firearm?
and you would damn well be saying fire. You would, at that point in time, you know when you defended your life, it ain't no damn.
Yeah, it's not a weapon. It's a
no more.
firearm.
Right.
I
Until
picked up
you
my
use
firearm.
It's a firearm.
Right.
Because you and I, when we go to the range, we're not shooting weapons. We're shooting
Right.
firearms.
Firearms.
If somebody attacks me and tries to kill me,
Now,
now
I'm going
it
to
turns
us
to a
this
weapon.
firearm as a weapon,
Yep, I'll use
it's-
this chair I'm sitting
right.
in as a weapon.
and it's going to spit some fire.
Exactly. But I think when I hear that every time, I used to cringe. And I guess I'm desensitized now, so I just shake my head. It's almost as bad as somebody
Right.
saying, "You pass me those clips."
Oh, yeah. I get so tired of that. I've corrected so many people who, yeah. Ugh.
People who
Yeah.
could tell you they've been shooting since
Yeah.
they were 5 years old.
Right.
And they're damn near 60 talking about, I got 4
Clips.
clips for this weapon.
Right.
Put
And
my head down.
so, but can people bring chaos? Yes, people can bring chaos.
We've seen it.
Yeah, but especially emotional people, they can bring a lot of chaos. And especially emotional men.
Well, you know what you just said? You said chaos, and you can actually change that word to drama. That's the new day and age word, drama.
Drama.
Chaos comes with violence.
Yes,
Like we saw in the streets in 2020. That was
Right.
violence. That's
Right.
violence.
yes, that was violence. No control, no nothing. It was just violence, just to
And
be had.
just for all those sensitive people out there, the what you call them, the drama, the soft people. We also saw it on January 6th. Yes, we did.
Yeah. Some people, they got caught up, and they did the same thing. What is it, mob rule?
Yeah.
And
that's it.
you get caught up in the mob rule, and next thing you know, some stuff
Dumb
happened.
Stuff, throwing fire
Right.
extinguishers at people. And,
Yeah, I think I've got caught up in it in my youth.
Mhm.
I've done some stuff I'm not going to talk about on on this live show.
Right.
But I got caught up, and It only happened once, and then after that, I learned how to control my chaos
Right.
because I was like, okay, now I know I need to turn it on here and do what I need to do and not get tunnel vision with it.
Right. Hmm.
And so I'm actually being calculated on the things I'm doing when I can turn it on,
Right.
and then in my yesteryears, you can just turn it off.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. Because you once you're involved, you're in, and especially if you're in a group of people that you're familiar with. Because if
right,
once they start doing it, then you feel that's the right thing to do, and you're in there with them. And next thing you know, you're in deeper and deeper, and then when you turn around, you may regret just being there altogether.
right. Well, yeah, but you have to be able to distinct between right from wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and
Absolutely.
that is the thing. If the like you said, if you're amongst a group of people and the group of people decides to do something wrong,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be in within your own mindset to say, "Hey, this is not right. I'm not doing this."
There were plenty of people on both groups, in both groups that went home. Both
Oh
groups.
yeah.
There were, yeah, oh yeah, there were plenty of people who decided I'm leaving because it's starting to get out of hand. People that
Hmm.
were doing what you said, whether
Yeah,
they were
yeah, yeah.
mature enough or they they had an inclination that this is going downhill, and they just said, "Let me get the hell out of here."
Right. And I
Plenty.
would be one of those
Hmm.
people.
Yeah, because think
Yeah.
about the night, one of those nights they were out there and they started setting garbage cans and things like that on fire.
Hmm.
If you start to take out an incendiary and start throwing it into a garbage can and fanning the fire, you're done. You're done. You
You're
can't
part of the
just do one.
problem.
It's like
Right.
the old thing what they say about potato chips. You just can't eat one. Once you light one trash can on fire, you lighten up the whole block.
If they're
Next,
Cheetos, I cannot eat
see,
them at all.
right?
I don't like
See,
Cheetos.
no,
They
what I'm
nasty.
saying,
Yeah.
the,
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
we gotta. And then we're gonna try some Lay's potato chips.
Right.
See if you
Okay.
can stand
All
that.
right. Yeah, I can eat those. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You get caught
Right?
up,
You get caught up.
and the next thing you know, now you don't know. Next thing you know, you can be laying on the ground
Hmm.
because
Or
something.
worse, you on the opposite side, I guess the 50-50, you could be the one beating somebody to death
Right.
because
And
you're in a blind
now,
rage.
yeah, and yeah,
Hmm.
because they just did something that pushed your peg meter.
Right.
Instead of just saying, "Hey, this is property," it's not a
Hmm.
life. It's just property, and just walk away.
Right. But
You
when
know.
you know, when we talk about the mob mentality and the group efforts and things like that, even these young kids out here, there's a big problem outside of my area where I live, where they're actually going and breaking into cars at 3 o'clock in the morning. Now these same knuckleheads that should be in school around 7, 8:30 are in mobs. And when I say mobs, like 5 to 8 deep,
They
and
looking for guns.
they're looking for guns. They're breaking into cars. So now, this is the kind of folks that live in my community. Outside my community, we are kind of isolated where I live. It's one way in, one way out. But around the outside of that, it's different subdivisions. So the people say, make sure you lock your cars. No, make sure you lock and load because you shouldn't have to live a certain way and make sure that your stuff is secure so that somebody else doesn't take it. I
Put the
should be able
cars
to
in the
park my
driveway.
car.
Put the
Their
car in
cars
the
are in the driveway.
garage. I mean, in the garage.
Some people don't, they use the garage for storage.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah. And see,
Yeah,
what
I
happens
use
is,
my garage as a garage.
well,
I keep cars in
so
there.
do I. But,
Yeah,
some of these people, I can't dictate what they do. But my
yeah.
point is
Shouldn't have
that
a bedroom in there.
they're twisting their life to make sure they lock the cars. And on the same app that we're on, and the next door app, I see people condemning the people who, with your car doors locked. What difference does it make? Once that person touch someone else's car that doesn't belong to them, that is a crime.
Oh, I see
That's
what you're
tampering.
saying.
That's
That
tampering.
technically, that's a crime for
It's
breaking and
tampering.
entering.
It's
Yeah.
not technical. It's a crime. It's
Right.
a crime.
Right.
You can't.
Yeah.
Even if I'm leaning on your car and you come outside and say, "Hey man, what you leaning on my car for?" If you really want to push it, most cops ain't gonna do nothing with that. I mean, there's no damage to it. But if I reach and try to open your car door, that's tampering. Even if I have a
Right.
key.
Okay.
You can't
But
touch my
yeah,
car.
that's what because I noticed that. Yeah, you just said that next door. The first thing everybody said was your car door
It
locked
was car door.
or unlocked. Everybody's like, it was unlocked. Well, you didn't. They
You
didn't
should
break in
lock the
anything.
doors, right? If you lock the doors, they break the window. It's just
Right.
glass. It's not tempered. You know,
Well, no, they won't.
tempered.
No, they won't. It's
Yeah, they
been
will.
huh?
Yeah,
Have
they
you
will.
recently
Yeah,
seen that?
if they see something in your car that they want, they'll break your window. Follow
Hmm.
me? If they want your car, they'll break your window. There's that rear vent window on say like two-door vehicles, like more now modern day like four-day car,
Yeah.
four-door cars, that little
Yeah, I have
thing,
one.
they
I have
pop
one.
that out. They pop
Right.
that out. Reach in, open the back door, open the front door, and depending on the make of your vehicle, all it needs is a screwdriver.
Just
Jack
start
that
it
up
up.
and
Yeah.
start the car up. They're joyriding. They ride around
So
for a few hours, and then they dump your car in another county somewhere.
right, right.
So if
Yeah.
they want it, they're gonna get it. What I'm saying is, somebody who doesn't lock their car, whether purposeful or by accident,
It's not
it's
their
not
fault.
their fault. It's not their
Right.
fault.
Okay. All right. I'll stop making fun of those people.
Thank
So
you.
that's I'm really bad about that. Was it locked?
Yeah. As soon as
Right.
a stranger touches your car, bro, that's tampering. As
Okay.
soon as they touch your car.
All right.
Now, I'm
So
saying you should shoot them, but
no, you can't. You cannot go outside and use chaos to control that situation.
right.
That is a no-no. You will end up in jail.
Well,
Uh,
mention your take on chaos. That's a good one. We spoke about this before.
oh, chaos. Chaos is taking yourself to a level of beyond rage where you're going into a almost a berserk mode, but you're still having the consciousness of what's going on around you. It's not a like the blind rage where you just can't control it and you see red and you just do anything that's totally nuts, but you have that same rage, but it's you don't leash it out until you find the target that you want, and then you leash it out on that person, and if there's more, you would deal with the situation at hand, and once the chaos as you has neutralized everything that's a threat to you or to others, you immediately go inside yourself and turn that chaos switch off. Immediately shut it down.
But that takes a high level of training and discipline. Average person
Right.
gets to that level, they can't come back.
They can't turn it off.
Mm-mm.
You cannot turn it off. And it's very difficult to find if you can turn it off because and that's why when people or do stuff to defend themselves or get involved in defensive shootings, you notice it's always the delayed reaction of the adrenaline coming down
Mm.
after, and now they're realizing what's happening, and then it's going to take a different effect on that person. So
Depending
it's
on
going
who
to
you are and your constitution, it may some people start crying, some people
right. I've seen
just
that.
go into a shock,
Right.
a shock
Right.
state, a catatonic state.
Right.
But, one of the things that you were saying, I'm going to do a video about is these guys that they want to break. They're saying that scanning, right? And you
Suppose it break the
the tunnel vision, right?
the tunnel vision.
But
Yeah.
guess what? That was originally same as situational awareness. That was originated for military and law enforcement. So I'm a cop, right? There's a bunch of people out here. I don't know who's a bad guy or not. I scan the area as I'm pointing my gun at them, right? I got my gun pointed in my vision, and I'm making sure this guy's staying where he is. Now I'm John Q. Citizen, and these people are all innocent. Well, fuck you pointing that? Oops! What you beep beep beep? What you pointing that gun at me for? Right? You scanning and you pointing guns at people who are innocent. And it dawned on me a few years ago. I was looking at that, and I said, "You can't scan. Citizens. All these guys, and it looks great on the gram. They finish, pow, 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 pow.
But they would scan this, but they technically would.
They're going to because that's what they're training themselves to do.
Right. Right.
And now you got 5, 6, 7 people.
But
Especially depending on where you shoot somebody, where you may
but
have this incident go on.
let me
Some of these projects, these people are all coming out. That's entertainment, bro.
let me tell you something. Those guys who do that are still they can bring the chaos, but they're not bringing controlled chaos because I guarantee you, when they're scanning, they don't see anything in that scan.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I wasn't adding this to the scanning. As you said, I said you made me think of something that I'm working on a video about, in that doing that scan afterwards, and then having people who are innocent. They have nothing to do with it. I don't give a damn.
Or have a
what they're
threat person
associated
in
with.
between there and see what happened.
Well, see, that's something totally different. You always looking to kill them, Momo. But
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Well, go ahead. I'm gonna
what
tell
I'm
you.
saying, legitimate situation. You're in this other guy's neighborhood. You went to visit somebody, whatever. Things go bad, and he's down. Depending on the economic level of the neighborhood that you're in, that might be entertainment. People come out for that.
Oh,
Think about it. Every time you watch the news and you got
so now
who
it can
was
turn into
willing-
something. But
Yes.
then,
because
yeah.
you just scanned, you pointed a gun at somebody that didn't need to be.
But in a self-defense situation like that, you can always leave.
But
You
see,
can
that-
leave.
what I'm saying is the guys that do this and scan the whole crowd, those guys just pointed a firearm at an innocent.
It could
person.
turn a lot different. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Could
but-
if
Yeah, could if and whiff.
2-letter word.
Could if
mean
whiff and
a
biff.
lot. But my point is that when you do something like that, you have to be aware of the situation. So what to wrap it up, to control chaos, when you're in that highly enraged situation, you really can't discern those little things. So somebody walks up to you and they were innocent, and they say, "Hey, what happened?"
And you might not be able to hear. You remember, you might not be able to hear.
That too. And what
Right.
about if they do this?
Yeah.
And you reach around, and next thing you know, you just zap somebody that didn't need to be zapped.
Right.
You know, so that's the thing. What I was saying to you earlier in reference to people who can't, who are not trained and don't have the mentality to do it. And then also, I was adding in the fact that they have people who train to scan. So you get into a chaotic mode. I'm gonna bring it all together. You get into one of those chaotic modes, and as you're going along and you do your training scanning, you may go pop, 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 pop. Especially if you went berserko with a firearm.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Which is true. But like I said, the majority of the people who scan, I've noticed they don't. It's just a scan for the class, but they really don't see anything. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah.
Think about it, bro. I mean, your buddy, the guy you like, what's his name? Instructor Zero.
Zero.
He was one of the first ones that I saw outside of law enforcement, but he also trains law enforcement. We started scanning in the police department around 96, maybe 97. And it was another instructor went to a training, came back, and he brought it back, and shared it with everybody else. So then as I started going to different training, I started noticing. So originally, they were scanning with the gun in their hand wherever you look, just to break your focus, break that tunnel vision. Then, since you got people on the line and you're trying to teach a class of 20 and everybody's standing on a line next to you can't turn to your left and right pointing a gun at them. So what do? They started having them just turn in their head. And we were like, just let's get rid of scan. But the powers that be at the time said, no, that still
Keep the
helps break-"
scan.
It's not. So the key to it for real is not necessarily just turning your head, but moving your body. So if you want to do a real scan and the bad guy is where this is, right? I would maybe go in a downward position. I don't need to give anybody no names, but I'd go in a downward position and I would look back over my shoulder. Look back over the time that
So you're not.
turn this
So
way,
yeah. Okay. I
the
see
time
what
it
you're
takes me
saying.
to turn this way. I
Right.
see everything. My periphery.
Right.
If somebody else charges at me, I can direct myself to deal with that person. Follow me?
Right. Right. And now let me bring the military aspect in here. Breaking tunnel vision. Breaking tunnel vision on somebody who had tunnel vision. You grab them by the throat and choke them out a little bit. But that would break the tunnel vision. But mostly it's if something was to happen, how you broke the tunnel vision in the military, it's just you just dug deep inside yourself and created that oxygen to come in. And because, you know, for us, if the shooting starts and then it stops, everybody goes quiet at that point.
Right.
You don't say anything else. And you just you're scanning. Now you're just looking and listening. You look, you listen, and with at the same time. Because you need to look and see what you see. You need to hear and hear what you hear. Because you want to hear different sounds, the sounds of movement, the sound of somebody's injured, sounds, you know, and everybody that's close to you are going to be giving you checks, you know, up, this, that, and the other, you know, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm green. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's how the tunnel vision is broke. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And,
But
and
is similar, but not the same in that you're actually having communication going on, and then when somebody doesn't answer, you can go to that person and say, "Hey, are you okay?"
right.
Directly, and then
Right.
the throat grab and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
You like to do. Never
Oh
gonna forget that
my-
one, bro.
Oh my God.
Never going to forget that.
Oh my
Don't
God.
touch nothing.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
funny. That is so funny.
But that's what most people don't experience, and we don't have enough military, former military grunt type people, not the paper pushers or the Chef Boyardees, but people who are actually out there that did the damn thing. We don't have enough of those guys out there that can facilitate with everybody else.
Right.
Because what we're looking at is people who play Call of Duty nowadays and swear that they have a military background.
Right.
Or you got a guy that went in for 4 years and he's working somewhere making decisions based upon his 4-year experience, like he was a 5-star general.
Right.
And it's crazy because people listen to it. Your buddy, the guy with the Ugandan military uniform on Nextdoor, he's running this post on right now. It's over 300 some odd comments, and he's doing a good job. I will give him that. He's doing a good job about constitutional carry. And but his background, he says military veteran. You have to ask what military. And then
Right.
you find out,
It's Uganda.
Right, Uganda. I don't know. I'm sure those dudes are hardcore. I mean, they at war every day since the dude was born. I mean, think about it, man.
Right.
I don't take nothing away from them.
Yeah. Their basic training was real.
Exactly.
Right.
Basic training was middle school for him. But
Right.
that dude is real time.
Right. Here we go. All right. Speaking of chaos, when was the last time that somebody pulled a gun on either of you, and how did you handle the situation? I haven't had one pulled on me, but I don't want to talk about that story here. But if you see me in person, I will tell you that story.
Our lawyers decided that we should not.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a role player.
I don't want to tell that story because I was probably in the wrong, but
but over.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a role player, so I get guns pulled on me all the time. So, different situations, I handle it.
And if you guys didn't know, he's a retired law enforcement officer.
Right. We need to do one of those backup shows that we'll talk about and just go talk about all our past things.
Right.
But yeah, I do role playing. We do force on force classes, so I'm always the bad guy. So I've been down the barrel of the gun. But in my personal life, it's been a while. Had a guy, shots fired call. Me and my partner go to the call. We're like 3 blocks away. We heard the gunfire. We show up as an apartment complex. First guy I see, he's walking to his car. As he's walking to his car, it's like, okay, he's leaving. As long as people leaving, we don't have to give a damn. We're in the hood. So it's like, as long as they, scattering, that's cool. I turn around, my partner runs down the way, and he comes walking back like, yeah, we're blowing it off. Isn't it? Yeah, we heard it. We can smell the burnt gunpowder, but it's over. As he's coming back, I turn around and I see that same guy that walked across my car, like walked in front of my car, should I say. And I'm like, wow. So I had him up, and everybody else is saying that they hear the gunfire coming from that direction. I say, hey, man, you ain't a gunfire? He said, nah, I ain't no guns. Everybody said, and pointing fingers saying the gunfire is coming from that way, the same direction you were just walking. So I walked up to him, and it just made me feel like, oh, this dude's lying. Reached into his waistband. When I reached to his waistband, I felt the gun. Didn't know what it was at the time, but I felt the gun. He grabbed my hand like this. Beretta 92 FS underneath his chin. And I stared at him and I said, who do you think's going to be faster? And my partner at this point is running. When I did that, I secured he took his hand off mine. I grabbed the gun and I tell my partner, gun. And he's like, where? And then I just grabbed dude by his pants right around his waist. And he's about 135, 140 pounds. And hoisted him up down to the ground. This was back in the 90s, so if anybody is upset with what I did, so what? Body dropping, get him on the ground, gun in hand. It was a Chief Special 38 Special Chief, that revolver, Chief something. It was a nice gun. Seriously, really wasn't no cheap gun. So apparently this kid used to live in the neighborhood. Their parents moved him out. They lived in a nice neighborhood. He comes back, but he had beef with some of the people when he used to live around there, so he was concerned. Go to trial. His lawyer, decent lawyer, gets him off based upon he had fear going back around. You didn't have to go back over there, but they're convoluted the way the courts allowed it. They said great student. Kid was like just making honors in school. Wasn't the smartest guy, but he was doing good, and had he got off. They sent a letter in the mail saying that I had to hold on to the court case record because they had it, specially adjudicated. And I was like, ain't this? But dude fired a gun because I guess he came back around there letting everybody know, hey.
He was pissed, yeah.
Yeah, and it was three rounds spent inside the revolver. It was 6 rounds, 6-shot gun. And it was 3 rounds missing. I think it was a cheap one. It was the big one, not the Model 36. That's why I don't know it. It was the one you see on Dick Tracy. That's what the Chief Special, that one.
Now the incident I'm talking about, I'm not going to say it, but I was outnumbered, and I was as a civilian, and I was in the civilian area, and I pulled out to defend myself against at least 7 people, and I got a little dramatic, and I think I turned into Clint Eastwood at the point. And it was. I'll tell you the story offline, and you're gonna laugh at this one. That was classic.
So, we see that's the thing, and the other thing in reference to YKG 98C5. The other thing is I don't go places where I have an opportunity to have a gun pulled on me. So,
yeah, and I shouldn't have been in that
doing that work.
Yeah, I shouldn't have been where I was at. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to be like a snob because my bank account will tell you I'm not a snob. I'm a wannabe snob. But, I triple take with places I go because just like this, and it doesn't bother me because most of those places I probably when I was young I used to go. Nowadays, and everybody will tell me this what I on next door. It could happen anywhere. Not the places I go. So,
yeah, and seeing I was
the places I go.
And that story I'm talking about happened way in the 80s. And I was a little reckless back then.
Right.
And, I wanted to get into something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think a lot of times guys go through that, especially high energy, high octane people. You want to test your metal. And it's understandable. You got a chip on your shoulder.
But I was able to control myself and not do what I should have done. And I just went ahead and started preaching.
So back to this, I had a weapon. Here we go with this word. I had a weapon pulled on me a couple times. Other weapons, knives. The 2 homeless dudes told me they were going to take it out of my hide because I gave one $5. I only had some change in my pocket. I had a $5 bill, so I gave it to him. Told him to split it. Dude said that's for him. Where's mine? I said, man, come on, y'all split it. Go buy some dope together. And then He looked at me and said, "I'll take it out your hide." And he was
Mm,
taller than me.
okay.
Dude, I had breakfast and lunch this morning. When was the last time you ate?
Uh,
This
yeah.
what I said to him because it was like I'm about to get evil, and I
So you
have
got
no
the
patience.
energy. You got the energy. Yeah.
Well, no, I was telling this homeless dude when was the last time he ate? When the last time someone gave him
Okay.
some money? I mean, I'm being fair, and at this point, I don't care about you. You're not
Right.
human to me anymore. You're disposable because
Right.
you just disrespected me, and now you're going to challenge me. I gave you $5. I don't give people nothing, but it was
Right.
like I came out. It was a cigar bar. I came out. Him and his boy was sitting on the floor in front. I stepped over him, and then he said, "Hey man, can you help me out?" So I was like, I don't do. I've been cashless, unfortunately, for a long time. I prefer cards over anything. But this particular day, $5 cash, gave it to him. The other dude said, "Where's mine?" Oh,
Right.
y'all split that. Go buy dope together.
Right.
And that was offensive. And he stood up. And when he stood up, it was one of those. I got to look up at him. And it was, look, I had just become an Aspeton instructor. So folks that know me, it was like 96, 97. Yeah, 96, 97. And I had the Aspeton on me. He met that Aspeton and some moves that the instructor, who was instructing a trainer course, the instructor showed some other moves that Asp doesn't back. It's like not to say they're not sanctioned moves with
So
that
you was
Aspeton.
taking the
Oh my,
baton, you fling it,
yep, there
and
you
let
go.
the leather and
Mhm.
keep the leather strap on. You fling it, a hit, and it flips back in your hand. And you do boop, boop, right?
Man, no. You do the same thing you said. You take it out of the scabbard. You do the same thing you said. It works as a punch instead. Instead of to the sky or to the ground and open it, you
Uh-huh.
open it right to their face or open
Oh,
it to their chest. I'm gonna say chest.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. I will just say very
Wow.
effective, very
Wow.
effective. So if you
Wow.
have an aspeton, try it. Try it on a tree first, so that way
Right.
you don't kill anybody.
Yeah, because you hit them in the solar plex, you can actually
Yes.
stop their heart.
You can
Yeah.
stop them from breathing altogether.
Yeah.
You hit them in the
Yeah.
throat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but this guy got him
Yeah.
on the lower extremities because I didn't trust it at the time. I never done it before,
Okay.
but after that, I was pretty versed.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had a conversation with a young lady this afternoon just before we got on, and I asked her what was her opinion on the constitutional carry in our state. And the funny thing about it is that they think the constitutional carry, and these are well-educated people,
Mm-hmm.
and so they think that the constitutional carry allows felons to carry guns.
Wow.
So I'm like, really? You can't go read the law and
Mm-mm.
see that felons
Mm-mm.
are already carrying guns.
I want to. I
So
want to. I want to wait till my cousin tells me about it.
why?
No, that was
Oh,
my response. Instead of reading it for
oh
myself,
yeah, yeah.
I'm
They're
waiting
gonna
for my
read. Yeah,
cousin to
wait
tell
for
me.
my cousin to tell you about it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a huge um disconnect of a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people not understanding what the constitutional carry is in the state, and it's really it's becoming a real joke because majority of the people I'm seeing who don't understand the constitutional carry uh, law are minorities.
I'm gonna tell you like
And
this. This is what I tell people. Nothing's changed except for the payment.
right,
That's it. That's it.
right,
Because what I said on the guy's page, the Ugandan veteran, I said the same thing to him. I said, keep it simple. Nothing's changed except the payment. There's no more
mm-hmm,
payment. There's
right,
no more payment. So nothing's changed. You go to buy a gun, you still have to fill out a 4473, submit to it. If you have a weapons carry license in the state of Georgia, that will give you an exemption, but you still have to fill out the form. I said it wrong last time. I'm saying it right this time. You hear that, Al? So
yeah, I hear you.
you do have to get it. You do have to submit to the 4473. Then after that, you will receive the firearm or not. If you don't have that, you still have to submit to a background check. So there's nothing's changed. If I want to sell one of my firearms to this gentleman on sit in the window next to me, I can still sell the firearm to him. I can ask him for a Georgia's license. I can ask him for a WCL. uh, yeah, if and ask him and see that, and then make the transfer from there. I don't need to go through anyone else. I don't need to contact the government, and I think that is the biggest thing that you have, especially all these carpetbaggers that are moving down here. What's happened is they're so used to being regulated that they can't understand freedom. That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
They
They
can't
can't
understand it.
understand
I
freedom.
get so many
That
questions
is
about people
huge.
asking me about how do I register my guns? And I'm like,
Right.
you don't register. You don't want to register your guns. And they're
Right.
like, well, and you and I both know if you take that 4473 and figure it out, you know damn well that they got a record somewhere of all the purchases that are made.
Mm-hmm. If you guys look, here it is right here. Paperless
It's a
carry in the
permitless.
United States. There's 25 states
Mm-hmm.
that are
Halfway,
paperless. Halfway. So,
halfway.
I mean, that's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more states even talking about doing it more. I don't know if Florida is talking about it.
Florida had something going on and then it fell off like in the last couple of days of their
Oh, it did.
legislation process. Yeah, it
Okay,
was in. I think it didn't. It either made it to the house or made it to the doorstep, something like that.
right. And so what's happening is a lot of the falsehoods are going around the minorities' neighborhood or verbiage
Mm-hmm.
and trying to tell them that this law is going to make lawlessness and violence amongst your neighborhoods. They're
Wild
trying
Wild
to use it,
West.
yeah, Wild Wild West. So they're trying to use it as a means to get people to vote for gun control because they know, especially in the state of Georgia, that the person that they're trying to run for office in our next governorship, she is going to push for gun control. And if they get her in there, I guarantee they're going to demand her to repeal that law, the paperless
Well,
law.
I think it will be permitless. I think it would be very hard
Yeah,
for her to do that.
permitless.
But the other thing is, the way that Georgia's set up, the legislation is going to be very hard for that to happen.
Right.
Let me see something so I can find this real quick.
It'd be hard for it to happen, but their mindset is kind of weird. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna try.
Yeah, yeah, because they really hate firearms.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, the New York State's top court rejected the congressional maps drawn by Democrats
Mm,
In New York.
interesting.
In New York. I heard that today, and that to me was like, what? So New York with all the
It's
anti-gun,
changing. It's changing.
and they try to do what happens around the world, around the country in red states. I mean, they all do it.
Hmm.
You gotta try to get back in 4 years. So
Right.
all these redistricting all occurs all the time.
Hmm.
But in this case, it's always, in my from my estimation, it always being what do you call it? Republicans are always being blamed for making these districts where they can't lose.
Right.
You saw the one was the name the lady McBath. She jumped districts because of after the redistricting. She
Right.
went and it was almost like infighting. The lady who endorsed her in the previous election, she's now running against
Right.
because there's no honor with them. The
And let
same
me
with
let me
and
tell
there's your
everybody
boy,
about
but the same with your boy, not Kemp, but the other guy, Purdue. Same
oh, yeah,
thing.
yeah,
You
yeah,
get
yeah.
you endorse somebody, and then when
Right.
things don't go
Then the
right,
person run against you.
you run
See, but
against them.
Macbeth is a huge anti-gun
I understand her. I
supporter.
understand her.
Huge, huge.
She's traumatized. She's
Yeah,
traumatized.
that's because she had what happened to her son.
Right,
I
and she's
understand that,
traumatized.
but
Yep.
what she cannot do is try to impose that on the rest of us.
Yeah,
We don't want
and
to. I
that's
don't
what I
want to hear
said.
that.
She's
Yeah.
she's really on the lines of they're using her, the people who back her, to
Hmm.
force her, and because of the story that she has to tell, and it's all well and good, but she's like on a extreme level of
Right.
anti-gun,
Yeah.
and
This
you can't rationalize with her.
well, she's gonna lose. This is it's over for her after this.
I hope so.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause
And
and not because I dislike her or anything like that. I just don't like when people, you know, you now it doesn't go your way, so you're gonna take mine, or you attempt to take mine.
right.
That's like somebody who had a house next door, and for whatever reason they have to leave, and they come and say, "Hey, can I stay with you?" No,
Right.
I can't stay here. You know,
Right.
the lady endorsed her. This other
And
person,
there's a
I
lot
can't
of
all these names of these people.
and there's a lot of firearms suckers who support her, sitting up here, oh yeah, girl, I'm gonna vote for you and all this stuff. And
And they will.
yeah, they sure will. And she'll
That's the thing that last one we did last week. That was one of the key points is that people voting against their better judgment.
right,
All right. So
right,
back in 16, nope, before 16, back between 12, you had people voting against who didn't have health insurance, who didn't want the Affordable Care Act to pass. But you don't have health insurance, right?
right,
So, because a Democrat is pushing it, or maybe a black man is pushing
right,
it,
right.
whatever way you want to look at it. But you don't want health care.
right,
Now you have people who, on the opposite side, we have people who have just recently bought guns. In the last 2 years, more black people have bought guns than ever before. And go look that up if you don't believe me. Than
Right.
ever before. So that means that you can combine almost all the years of black people buying guns and combine that. The last 2 years, black people bought more guns, especially black women.
And let me give you, a lot of people don't realize it's only about what 13% black people in the United States population. It's not a very lot, and it's actually been dropping. So for that little percentage to be buying a lot of those firearms, that's saying a lot.
But how do
Yeah.
you vote against yourself, though? How do you vote against
Oh, they do
your
it.
right?
They do it all the time.
And one of the things that, in reference to constitutional carry, we were discussing earlier, is that people, especially on the Democrats, they're calling it the so-called constitutional carry bill.
Right.
Well, the so-called it
It's
is.
a-
It's
it's a law.
Right. It's a right.
It's a right, and now
Right.
they made it
Well,
a
now it's
law.
Well, they say constitutional, the so-called constitutional carry.
Right.
It's not so-called. I say to people that we're finally getting our right back.
Right.
Because when you have to pay for a right, it's a privilege.
Right. Oh yeah.
So it's not a right. It's
What
a
was
privilege.
that Florida?
Oh, the Florida guy that shot himself?
No,
Oh,
the
sheriff.
Florida sheriff.
Florida
Yeah.
sheriff. Yeah, that's my guy, man.
He was
forgot his
like Carrie. If you have an intruder in your home, and if you shoot them, they will not be. What is that? An
He said-
habitual.
He prefers you shoot intruders.
Right. Shoot intruders.
Dude, I don't know what the heck's going on with the sound today, but I'll just get one that doesn't have it.
What's that?
I'm gonna give it to you right now. We can finish with this one.
Okay.
I love dealing with the New York Times. There it is, right there.
All right,
At the
boom.
bottom.
There it is. Oh, you got to scroll it.
So you can't hear the sound.
No, you can't hear the sound.
him.
There it is.
I guess
There
they
it is.
think that they did something wrong, which they did not. If somebody's breaking in your house, you're more than welcome to shoot them in Santa Rosa County. We prefer that you do, actually. So whoever that was, you're not in trouble. Come see us. We have a gun safety class we put on every other Saturday. And if you take that, you'll shoot a lot better, and hopefully you'll save taxpayers money.
Taxpayers' money. Oh, that was classic. That was classic, wasn't it?
yeah.
He's gonna. If you missed and had a problem with it, you go down on Saturday and they're gonna train you how to do it better.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
That is amazing. But that's how they feel, because criminals are just running amok,
Right.
and people need to defend themselves, and more ways than one. And in the state of Georgia, now you don't have to keep your firearm in your house or your car. Put it on you, conceal it. Do not carry it open, and have a good holster. Don't have an Uncle Mike or one of those, I don't know what those other companies they have. Do not, repeat again, if it's a Glock, do not put a 32 round extended magazine on it. That is stupid. More ways than one. And if you take a class, you'll find out why. Because 9 times out of 10, you're gonna hit the ejector and you're gonna drop it. You know, and
Not only the ejector, but when you start moving around obstacles,
it's gonna.
if you
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
almost 10 inches, that's still extended because
Right.
the whole thing is about 14 inches. So
Lear-
4 inches in the grip, 10 inches hanging out. If you go past something, it's gonna bang it. You can accidentally shoot something, especially
Right.
if you're engaging and you
Yeah.
hit something. You're gonna fire the gun. It's just stupid.
It's not a good way to work the tool.
Okay, what about those 50 round magazines for the Glock? Can I use one of those?
No. Why are you no? Oh my God. That's just that's stupid. I
I
mean,
think whoever
you
made
can't
the
even carry that in the holster. You know what I'm saying?
I've
I mean, you're gonna
seen
look.
I've seen
You
it.
seen that?
Not in person, but I've seen
Oh,
it
okay.
on
I mean,
on the
that's
gram.
stupid.
I've
The
seen it on
the
social
word
media.
the word concealed means nobody knows you have it.
Right.
You know, and in some states like the state of Florida, you can't even print.
Right.
So you got to wear extra baggy clothes and not to print because they will cite you for printing with your firearm in Florida.
Right.
So they don't require that here. You can print here, but I don't like printing because it makes me look stupid. So I buy extra bigger shirts.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, I dress the part, the concealed part, look gray.
It's a lifestyle.
It's a
It's a
lifestyle. Right.
You can't half-ass it. You just
I don't
can't.
walk around with a Glock or a Ruger hat. I don't have what do you call those jackets? Those safari vests. I've seen these guys that walking around these safari vests, and you know what he's got on. It's
Right.
like, well, what are you doing? You just
You look
advertising.
like a photographer or CIA, FBI.
Right. A contractor or something like that.
Everybody
It's
knows
stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody
Next
know
is
you
gonna be-
carrying.
You know the fanny pack's on its way back.
Right, the fanny pack.
I predict this summer being the summer. of
Oh
the fanny
no!
pack.
The fanny packs are back. They're
that's what I
wearing
said.
them across. They're wearing them
Oh,
across their
geez.
chest now. So they're doing, and they're actually the guys have guns on them, and they're keeping them in those fanny packs across their chests. So that's what it instead of
cross-drawn.
around the waist, it's cross drawn.
Cross-drawn.
So the fanny packs are back.
Everybody- and I had a guy argue with me about the merits of a cross draw holster, and I said everybody that's standing to your left gets flagged when you draw it. No, I go like this. I said that's ineffective. I
Right.
said you
That's
take
too much
3
movement.
Seconds, 3 seconds to keep the gun pointed and down.
That's too
to
much
this
movement.
rope. Man, you gonna
That's
get
too much
busted.
movement. Yeah.
I told
Too
him
much
you don't
movement.
understand the merits of a gunfight if you do that.
Right.
The least amount of movement is what you want to do.
Right.
And I said, and as you say all the time, you can't train for the timing of a gunfight. And I agree.
Right.
But you try to do things as fast as possible. So you got to eliminate movement. And in order to eliminate movement, you can't be doing no rotating this. But I think he was lying to me because I said, do you do that every time or you just do that when people are around you? He said, when people are around you. I said, how are you going to know the difference?
You don't.
And I
He's
shut him
yeah.
down. That's how you
Yeah.
know the difference with somebody just because people around you, but you're not doing this every time. If you
Right.
did this- if you lied to me and said you did this every time, I'll leave you alone. But when you're
Right.
saying that you do it only when people are there, you're not that operator to discern between when to use it and when not to use
Because you should do it every single time.
it. Exactly. If you
every
do it
single time.
I'll let you go. But
Every time my gun runs empty or it runs dry, it's an automatic response for me to reach down to my left hip to grab another one.
Mm-hmm.
And so that messes me up when I'm wearing plate carriers because I put the ammunition on the front.
Mm-hmm.
And when I go to reload, I'll reach down and it's on the plate
a couple
carrier
seconds to figure
Yeah.
it out. Oh yeah, wrong
to
one.
figure it out because my mind is automatically trained for that.
Mhm.
You know, it just
That's why I
automatically
keep everything
happens.
the same. I wear
Right.
a gun belt and then plates on top. Plates
Right.
get and if I'm running ammunition for my rifle, I get it here. This is secondary. First one is those two on my back. So the same training rig that I wear all the time, I'm gonna keep doing the same thing. So the pistol exhausted or rifle mags exhausted on my waist, then I go to my chest. So I got 2 down here and 4 on my chest.
Right. Right.
That's my 6 and 1 in the gun. That's it.
Right. Right.
That's how
Yeah.
I roll. That's how I roll, bro.
So that's how we do it. And there's another show. You know, did it pretty good. We can call it a night.
Thank you all. Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys coming out, watching, hanging out, and asking a few questions. We didn't get any phone calls this time, but that's cool. Like I said, this show was brought to you by Saber Team Tactical and Al's the man. And we'll see you guys on the range hopefully someday.
See you on
All right, you got anything, Al?
No, man. Class is coming up. Sign up. The next one coming up in June.
Right. So keep those dates open and come on out and play. You know, and you
About
can
4
bring
spots left.
and you
22.
yeah, bring 22s from some of the heavier classes. You know what I'm saying? All right. See you on the range, guys.
Out.